Let's play.
What kind of squash are you?
I have a bunch of squashes that have probably cross-pollinated with something else, and they were all in my compost, so they showed up in my yard and garden. Let's play.
We have a big, beautiful squash here, and we've got this type of squash. So is this a spaghetti mixed with a watermelon? Or how about this bad boy? We've got this style of squash. What the heck has that been cross-pollinated with? And that one showed up just in the garden below this apple tree. In the pot, we got this one. This would have been some soil from my compost bin. Yeah, don't know what this is. Right here, we got this one. I didn't grow anything like this last year, so it looks kind of like an acorn, but maybe it is. I might have been given an acorn that went bad, and so it went into the compost. So this could be an acorn.
So let's go harvest them in order. Here we've got number 1. Put them in the basket. Here's number 2. Into the basket he goes. Number 3. He looks a little bit like number 1. Into the basket. And number 4. Into the basket. So let's find out the results of what these are. I'm going to start from number 4. This does look like an acorn squash. And I think it is an acorn squash. The only thing is that I didn't have an acorn squash last year. It could have been one that I was given and then thought went bad. And this definitely looks like an acorn squash. Number 3, again, some soil that was in my compost and it had some sort of seed. So let's see what this one is. Ooh, it's tough. Its skin is very tough. I don't know if I can cut this one open. This one was very hard to cut, and I needed to use the concrete so that I could have the knife stabbed in it. But it's yellow inside, and the flesh feels, fairly soft, but the skin on it was very tough. It smells pretty much like a pumpkin. Maybe it was overripe, and that's why it was so difficult. A lot of people were thinking that this was maybe a buttercup squash, but it also has this interesting bottom, which is like a turban. So it's a buttercup or it is a turban squash. And again, this one, I could have gotten this squash and not known what it was and then thought it went bad and then just threw it out into the compost, which there its seeds were. So this one's bright yellow inside. Smells like a squash. So, our buttercup. And then our other crazy one, with this one, I'm wondering if it's the same as number 3 and that this rind is going to be very hard for me to cut. So I might go and try to slice it outside again. This one definitely needed to be a smash opening. Very similar to the first one. And it smells a lot like pumpkin. Some people were thinking it was some sort of fancy watermelon, but looking at it, it is definitely the seeds last year were cross-pollinated with something that ended up in my compost. And so, probably not something I'm going to prepare. So in the end, definitely an acorn squash, the buttercup squash or turban squash because it does have this little piece in here. But with these ones, it's just going to be seeds for my chickens. Anyway, I hope you're having a great day wherever you are. So one of the reasons why I didn't want to cook the unknown squash was because I was hearing all over the internet, toxic squash syndrome. But then as I did some research, I found out that if you taste the squash and you don't taste any bitterness, then more than likely it's actually fine to eat. So I did the little taste test. There was no bitterness. So we cooked it up. And as you can see, it's very similar to spaghetti squash. And it tastes like spaghetti squash. So our unusual squashes were probably cross-pollinated with something. And because there was no bitterness, then we knew that we could actually eat it. The unknown is actually spaghetti squash. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Take care and God bless. Thanks for playing What Squash Are You?